Hello, everyone, and welcome to DYNA CAST Side Missions, an elbow deep dive into the nerdy shit we find fascinating. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with your best home skillet or arch nemesis. Okay, I read my lines. That was our intro to episode 1 of DYNA CAST Side Missions. Hello, Richard.
Yo, what's going on, Corey?
How's it going?
Very good.
We're here to talk about my favorite subject, the Power Rangers.
It is a favorite subject of both of ours.
Yes, Power Rangers ruined my life, and it did very great things to my life as well.
That's not an untrue statement. It's really not for anybody.
Hey, I met some of my best friends through Power Rangers, and I spent money I probably shouldn't have because of Power Rangers.
That's very true.
So yeah,
it's easy to do.
What I mean, yeah,
it's easy to do.
Yeah. So give me a little bit of your history with the Power Rangers.
Yeah, so I jumped in watched it as a kid like everybody else, and then I was too cool for it, after like I think Turbo, I was like, that's for babies. And then I think it was around Mystic Force, I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool intro, and something was different, because they were filmed in New Zealand, and I was like, this is interesting. So it was on my radar, and then eBay was the thing around that time, like early 2000s, and I made an account and started like trying to track down some of the pieces I couldn't get as a kid, that my parents were buying, and then it kind of snowballed, and then the movie, I was like, oh, I remember the movie, and it was just, yeah, and ever since then it's just been like it's full steam ahead. It's pretty crazy.
I remember the first trailer for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And instantly, because Jurassic Park and stuff was around, and I'm a avid fan of dinosaurs. I'm not like a dinosaur nerd. Oh, Tyrannosaurus,
Right.
Gina Cretaceous. I don't know shit like that. I just like dinosaurs because they eat each other. But Austin St. John, Jason, he's just like Tyrannosaurus. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah.
That's me. That's mine.
Yeah.
That's my character. And I remember making a Power Morpher out of paper. Just off my memory of it.
Mhm.
And instead of a power coin, it was like I thought it was like a gold gem in the center.
Do you still have it?
No, it's made out of paper, man. That's like 30 years ago.
People put things on their refrigerators.
Oh, that's
they
true.
Save
That's
it,
true. That's true. Yeah.
I got some macaroni stuff somewhere.
But I went hard on Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I'm just memories are just
and I will say, as an adult now, I've talked to other enthusiasts, because that's what we are now. It's no different than people who love Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever. It's just a little bit more like off the beaten road, And,
it's very obscure.
Yeah, and I think every time I talk to people, but I try to keep a tight circle, of enthusiasts, and every time I talk to them, they're like, it hits a chord, and I don't know if it's because we were all like, one guy described it as, he goes, we were all like hurt children at one time, and you kind of find some comfort into
yes, every time I had a bad day,
Yeah.
even as an adult, I was like, bro, I need to watch some Power Rangers. And I always pop in season 1. Season 1, man, I heard someone talking trash on season 1 on Twitter, and it made me mad. Season 1 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is the best season of Power Rangers, period. Because no other season of Power Rangers would exist without season 1.
But that's true.
But go ahead.
No, sorry. So as I got older, I was, Power Rangers wasn't doing it for me. I mean, it was, but it wasn't scratching that itch, because every episode was essentially the same thing, same format. And then, Disney got it and they changed it up a little bit, but essentially the American series is all the same stuff. So I started deep diving into the origins of it. So the Japanese stuff, which has been going on since the early 70s, with Super Sentai and stuff like that. So that's when I was like, this is way bigger than I thought it was. They have cursing in there. There's blood.
Well,
it's like, it's like a telenovela of like superheroes. There's relationships that are built. Each character has its own, personality, and the Japanese culture is very playful.
Yes.
And they've been that way since, even when they were doing like, Godzilla films and stuff, but it's a different type of storytelling than we get with, that's toy based.
Yeah, like as I was getting older, like once season 2 came around, I started to tune out. That's when VR Troopers came out.
Mhm.
So I watched all the American tokusatsu back then.
Beetleborgs,
VR Troopers, Beetleborgs,
Beverly Hills,
Max Rider.
What was it? Beverly Hills
Tattooed
Teenagers.
Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills, and Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Yeah.
I still love Superhuman Samurai Cyber
Street
Squad.
Sharks. I mean, they really all played off of it. They really tried
Yeah,
to get a piece of the market
they
at that
they
point.
were all. I was into all that because I wasn't watching Power Rangers, but I still wanted that Henshin hero aesthetic because that was like I guess I could say I found myself.
Yeah.
It was better than regular superheroes
Yeah,
with capes.
I think the thing with me was that it was live action, and I
Yeah.
just couldn't believe that something like that could have been. You know, they talk about in a lot of these documentaries that you can find on YouTube, the toys that made us, the shows that made us. They talk about, you know, how they sat these kids down and they did a like a test screening, you know, for the first episode or the pilot episode to see, like, you know, what kids, and they would do a dial test. So it was a dial from 0 to 10, and depending on how interested the kids were, they were asked to like turn the dial. And they said the minute the theme song came on, that the dials turned to 10.
You know,
and they
that theme
stayed
song
at
still
10.
gets me hyped today. It has to be the original theme song, not the movie one.
Right.
Not the movie one or any other remix after that. It's the original Ron Wasserman.
Ron Wasserman, yes.
Wasserman. Man, that's still I'm just thinking about it right now. Fucking is like just the whole soundtrack of Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
It still just fucking amps me up like nothing else.
It's a very iconic theme song. But back then, I mean, you know, jingles were a big thing in the 90s. Cereals, you know, like everything had a jingle. And Ron, he does posts quite a bit on social media, and he talks about how he, you know, got paid pennies to come up with that, you know, and he was like, blah, 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 you know, and he plays all the music himself, and, you know, he just busted out, I think, within a night.
He wrote the soundtrack to the entire show.
Yeah, there was other songs to follow, and it had a very rocker vibe to it.
Yes, this is like butt rock.
Yeah,
you know, yeah. Jeez. The thing is, I don't want to get too much into tokusatsu because that's a whole nother show I have planned. But just staying on the topic of Power Rangers, the thing is that it's been around for about 30 years now.
In the US, yeah.
Yeah. And it hasn't evolved.
True statement. Yeah.
And that's the thing that bothers me. I mean, there are other younger fans who came in during the Disney era. So, you know, something like Ninja Storm is their Rangers.
Right.
And even younger kids today wear Samurai. That's their team.
Right.
You know, from 2010 onward. And it's still the same show. And it feels like, because when you watch Super Sentai, the comedic relief is within the Ranger team. They don't have too many outer characters. Because the outer characters are the villains.
Right.
And I feel like, you know, like Boken, they always trying to reinvent Boken Skull.
Right.
You can't do that. Right. You can't, like, I feel like RPM did it the best with Ziggy.
Right.
And I'm trying to find the words for it. It just feels like they are wasting time. Okay, when I tune in to watch Power Rangers, I want to see the Power Rangers.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about their lives outside of being Rangers.
Okay.
It's cool that it's there.
Right.
Because it adds the character.
Right.
But I came to see giant robots and funny suits.
Right.
And they spend too much time outside of that, learning lessons like that. There's an episode where and this is in Dino Fury season 1, the Blue Ranger, and the Black Ranger was he was interviewing him for something. He was trying to, how many
I remember
marbles are in this jar, and he was counting the marbles in the jar the whole time. I'm like, that's a dick move, bro. This is like your best friend here.
Right.
He needs to interview you about this computer satellite thing, whatever the episode was about. And he's just like, I'm counting the marbles. They always do these weird out of character things just to teach a lesson.
Yeah.
When they should bring in, because one thing Mighty Morphin did, they were always because Jew Ranger Bandora, she was always kidnapping and torturing kids.
Right.
That was her thing. So that's why there were always these kids that were around the Power Rangers, and the kids were learning a lesson from the Rangers.
Right.
Instead of the Rangers being the ones to learn the lesson. Isn't it? And sometimes the Rangers learned lessons like because Tommy and Jason were always button heads.
Right.
You know, I feel like they did it better in the earlier days, but then as the seasons went on, they would always get out of character or have these weird character resets
Right.
just to, I guess, I don't know if that's like a mandate for television or something.
No. I think one thing that we lose sight of as fans, as long as we have been, this franchise, unlike any other, there's no progression.
There isn't.
There
That's
isn't,
what irritates me about
but
this
you
shit.
got to remember, the lessons that we were taught in '93 when at like the peak of our attention span, was be nice to others, work as a team. It doesn't matter what you look like, you're a hero. They're trying to do that every episode because right now there's 5-6-year-olds who are watching it who are trying to get that same message across.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get that, but there are other shows that do it better.
Like Caillou, what?
No, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the CGI one.
Yeah, but I'm talking about live action. That's hard to do. This is the longest running live action kids show in the world.
Yeah,
like
you're not wrong.
I mean, Beekman's World, Zoom, all the Bill Nye, those are all gone. And if you look at other thing like Henry Danger on Nickelodeon, that's now an animated series. So the fact that we haven't turned this into a cartoon yet is exactly. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. But that's insane to me. So I struggle with that. Like I want to enjoy it, but that's when I go back and I watch like some Super Sentai seasons and kind of get
the thing is that
fix.
When they were filming Power Rangers in Los Angeles, as Goldar is staring at me on my computer screen, just chilling, it felt like the show grew up with the audience. If you watch Mighty Morphin all the way to Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, it felt like the show matured as it went on.
Right.
But then once it went to Disney, then the Disney era is just something different. It's hard to kind of.
I enjoyed the Disney era. I really did.
I was in and out of it. It was mostly the production value that bothered me the most. They used the stock BGM.
Right.
It was these weird tunes that are in the background all the time, and especially in Ninja Steel, though, the Megazords sound like tin cans when they got hit.
Right.
They sound hollow, and that always bothered me. And then the sound effects of the laser, pew! It was a
I mean, that's just '90s editing,
That was in
early 2000s editing.
Yeah, but like everything just felt more solid, in the earlier days. Now things are better. It's like a weird mix of it now. That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's like the Disney era and the Los Angeles early Saban era.
Right.
As in quality. And I don't like I always want team ups. Now I don't care because like there's only ever one good team up.
Talking about Forever Red?
Forever Red was like the best actually two, the Lost Galaxy and Space Ranger one. When the Psycho Rangers came back.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, if you watch back every season, I've been watching a couple of seasons because they're all on Shout Factory DVDs. In the best quality that can be, nothing's Blu-ray or anything, but I think every season has its like its nods to like the past, which is kind of cool. I just think we have to get to that point where we have to accept it for what it is. It's a kid's show, we enjoy it, and now I watch it more so for production value to see like this is in HD now, like it's literally like the crispiest version it's ever been. So I look at it for that. The suits are really cool, all those things I appreciate, but the story is still lacking, and we're gonna get that when they make that jump to Netflix.
Yeah. Speaking of that, where do you see the franchise going since hitting Netflix? Because they're supposed to be rebooting. It's supposed to be a new universe,
right?
What stays, what goes, how we're going to get there? Are they going to pretend everything else didn't happen?
I mean, I don't think they can. You can't ignore 30 years of history. You just can't. I mean, look at, the stuff that they make now. There's always these little like Easter eggs and, this and that. And this is beside, and they're pulling from comics. We have comics, but the comics came way later. And I think the comics are glorified fan fiction. What if the White Ranger, the Green Ranger had a baby, and it's like, what would the helmet look like? It's just
What if the
ridiculous.
White Ranger,
It's
the Green
ridiculous.
Ranger,
Now
Tommy had a baby with himself?
but I mean, it's so ridiculous. I mean, that the comics can just do their thing, but they have literally 30 years of physical production made material that they can pull from, and I think they're gonna have no issues in using any of that. But I have a strange feeling that I don't want it to be true, but I feel like we're gonna get like a Riverdale version of Power Rangers. And I don't want that, but I feel like there's no way that's what people want. So I think they're kind of do something like
Because
that.
didn't they mention that? Didn't they mention there's going to be like an adult version and a kid version?
Yeah, but Riverdale is essentially that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're taking a comic strip and turning it into like an adult series. So I just don't know what they're gonna go with it. But I think it's all gonna spearhead from that movie, the new movie that they're gonna come out with.
Not to sound like an elitist or anything, but because I was so obsessed with Power Rangers for so long, I feel like I'm the only person on this planet that understands what the franchise needs to be.
Right.
Like I have no voice on the internet. People like there are people out there that know their shit.
Right.
But I'm just like, no. I'm judging you and your opinion.
But off the jump, it's such a random topic. I mean, for us even to be having a side mission talk about Power Rangers as men is
it's
insane.
just like, but honestly, like I love it, but at the same time, I don't care about this shit anymore. Like I don't want to say like I'm aging out of it, but I mean, like, I don't want to get into tokusatsu, like I said,
Right.
because
Right.
it's the fucking
But no,
weird now.
but when you're talking about the American stuff, it does. It's when things come out, you're just like, okay, cool.
It's like watching the same episode of Friends over and over and over, expecting something new to happen, and it won't.
Yeah, but I think
and then when we do get something, there was an episode where Izzy, because this episode aired in France way before it aired here. And it was spoiled for me. And if I would have seen that, like if I was surprised by that, because it was revealed that she was gay. You know, she had a crush on this other girl, and that would have blew my
very
fucking
subtly, very subtly.
Yeah, it was very subtle, but that would have blew my fucking mind. I'd be like, what?
Yeah,
she doesn't like the boy, you know?
Yeah,
that would have been that was the only thing that probably would have excited besides seeing the Morphing Masters,
right?
That was the only thing that excited me in that show.
Well, and those are the things that as an adult you have to pull from the show. Be like, oh, that's cool, that's not cool, whatever. You know, I mean, we're getting to that point. You know, we don't buy the toys anymore.
No, they kind
of. I don't buy the toys.
I mean,
anymore.
I bought the Megazord and I was hyped on it for a little bit. The DYNA Fury Megazord,
right? The build a block, like the Lego kind of fitting.
And then I was just like.
Yeah, and I mean, but again, they're making the show to make money based on the toys. That's how they make all their money.
But they don't. The toys come out so late.
Yeah, well, that's just how things are going right now. But moving forward, I think with the Netflix and what their vision is, what Hasbro has for it, I do think we're going to get something for us. I mean, it's hard to ignore.
Especially with the Zord Ascension project. Low key, kind of hyped with that.
That's that NFT thing.
No. I mean, it's outside of that. I got NFTs are on the list. NFTs
as if this podcast couldn't get any worse.
Look. My opinions about NFTs have changed, but going back to the Zap project is, I like toy robots. That's my thing, and it's just like finally we're getting back to this is what I always wanted Megazords to be. Sorry.
That was deep.
This is what I always, because Megazords are always these kind of childish, blocky looking things. They don't pose. And especially as a fan of Transformers, where I can just like, I can pose my guy. Right. I got a Megazord that I can pose. It's like freaking 12 inches tall. and it has detail and it has all these fun features as opposed to like, it's just a brick and it.
Right.
And the legs don't move,
you know? Well, that all comes with just, time, technology, what we get better at.
No, it's just that other toy robots have it, but not the ones from my favorite franchise. And that always kind of annoyed me.
Yeah. I mean, Power Rangers really captured lightning in a bottle, and they've been trying to recapture it ever since. There's enough interest to keep it going, which I can appreciate. I do find it odd, some of the writing that they do. and some of the fact that Bandai sold everything to Hasbro, and now Hasbro's doing their toys.
Well, I mean, Saban, because Bandai has been pulling their weight, and it's just because it's almost just like when you've been working at a job a long time, you just get you're just doing just enough.
Well, I don't know what the behind the scenes were for it, but I just know that as a consumer, the
I don't think it's any better.
The quality control is worse.
Oh, especially with the lightning figures.
Yeah, it's just way worse. And I mean, you figure if you just compare the Dragon dagger that we got, a couple years ago, the Legacy one, to the Lightning, it's night and day. And for me, I'll just keep trying to get my stuff from Japan. Because Bandai's still doing stuff over there.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna waste my money on the stuff that's here. And I think they're getting keen to that. I mean, there's enough people complaining on the internet about bad paint jobs on figures, and
yeah, there's no Hasbro been making action figures since 1901. There's no excuse why there should be this many mistakes. People were getting the Ninja Ranger figures with no accessories.
It's ridiculous. But you figure this is the same company that does Hasbro. Hasbro makes all the Black Series.
Hasbro's the Disney of action figures.
Yeah, they make Star Wars, and there's no issues with those figures.
Yeah, it's just...
It is. I think one day, this is a very bold statement, but one day we will get to the point of like that following that Star Wars has. It's just not going to be anytime soon until we see whatever is down the pipe with the movie, the shows, the whatever they're going to do.
Yeah. In the meantime, my attention, Gridman has my attention.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast, guys. They've lost us for this. They don't know what Gridman is.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the new cast? Because there's only 22 episodes out for Dyna Fury right now, so it's half a series. And they just introduced the Gold Ranger at the end.
Oh, you know what? All right, okay. Gold Ranger showed up.
Yeah,
he was in his suit. He was in a pod. He'd been in a pod since 65 million years ago when the dinosaurs were around. And he woke up.
Yeah.
And then he was morphed the whole time. So he gets back to the base, the Ranger base. He demorphs. He's wearing
Zara.
Yes. He's wearing
H&M, yeah.
Yeah, because when Zato, when he demorphed, he was wearing his knight armor.
His armor, yeah.
But Homeboy is wearing he had on jeans and a sweater. I was like, when did you change?
I'm not too worried about the writing. I just kind of accept it.
But that's just a continuity issue. That's the shit that bothers me about this show. It's just like, who was paying attention?
I don't know if it's interesting, the actors they choose for these things. They're always going for a certain look. When you look back at Megaforce, Andrew Gray, I mean, that kid is a heartthrob,
he was pretty.
That's what I'm saying. But he was so pretty that they were like, well, he can't act, but he looks good on camera, so then they went the whole other way where they were like, oh, we're just gonna get normal kids, and then they were getting younger kids, and now Zato he's like 31 or 32.
Is he?
Yeah, he's older, but
he's not paying the high school kid though. He's just
right. But I'm saying, but they it seems like they're going all over the place, and I will say, I think him as a character, I think his acting skills are there. I don't the new Gold Ranger, I like him, but he's just very wet behind the ears, I feel like, when it comes to acting. And you can see that in the first couple episodes.
I feel like he's playing a character that isn't I feel like because of BLM and because this was produced during that time.
Right.
That they are just kind of what's that fucking word?
You think he was casted based on the necessity to have a black Sixth Ranger?
Everybody started reacting when they changed Aunt Jemima on the
right,
and everybody started reacting. Oh, we're not racist. Everybody started making moves. And I mean, there have been black Rangers before, but never a black sixth Ranger.
Well, Zato's mixed. He's, I think, Asian and African American as well. I think he's
with those blue eyes. He's Asian.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I feel like that's why he doesn't look 30 something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't look near 40.
But the new Gold Ranger, I think, again, good looking dude. I think the casting was like, okay, this is what we need. This is what we're gonna have as the Sixth Ranger. Because if you think of Beast Morphers, they had Devin as the
Red Ranger.
The Red Ranger,
even though he got no screen time.
But I think I do think that has a part to do with it, that they were casting in this climate, and he was a good looking guy, and they're like, cool, he doesn't have too much experience, but we'll make it work. And honestly, the Sixth Ranger, if you think about it through the Tommy really set a precedence for the Sixth Ranger going on and on and on. I mean, somebody had to just step on him and
Again,
like
about the term Sixth Ranger, I don't like it. We should use the term the Japanese use, a Special Ranger, because there sometimes the Sixth Ranger is not always the Sixth Ranger.
okay, and we've
Such
lost people. Again. Tune in next week when we talk about
look. You
Grid
look at
Man.
Dino Thunder. The sixth Ranger was
Right.
the right Ranger. How many Dino Thunder Rangers are there?
3.
There's 5.
5.
Yes.
Dino Thunder.
You have 3, red, blue, and yellow.
Sorry.
Then you have black, then you have white.
I think in the community it's you recognize that when you say the Sixth Ranger, you
No, but it's
ultimately mean the
stupid.
special, the one that doesn't look like the rest of them.
Yeah,
The one with the extra armor and the cooler
extra armor,
suit.
he got his own Megazord.
The Special Ranger.
Yes,
For
the
this special
Ranger.
podcast. That's gonna
even SPD had like 10 Rangers.
Yeah.
Omega Ranger showed up. He has the number 6 on his chest, but Doggy Kruger showed up before him. So he was technically the 6th one to show up.
Right.
But then the dude in the white suit has the number 6 on his.
Right.
You get what I mean? And then Cat Ranger showed up, but then he's called the Omega Ranger. Omega is the last. So, but then another 2 Rangers showed up after him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you kind of know. There's no, the way that they do it over in Japan is where we take the source material from.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason for it. If I know we're not talking about the Super Sentai stuff, but the newest season out there, they have 3 real actors and then 2 animated CGI Rangers.
Yeah, and then the Pink Ranger's a male. That's a first.
Yeah, so I mean they're gonna make it work, and I like that they're doing different ideas because there's really only so many storylines you can tell with 5 ordinary people.
No, the thing is, like, because Japan is big on tradition, and I feel like they have the same motherfuckers working on this for 45 years.
Yeah.
So you need some new blood.
Yeah.
And they don't. Because I feel like if you make such a departure from the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when I feel like you're running out of ideas.
Well, I mean,
because like Super Sentai has always been like a live action cartoon,
right?
But like recently, like I haven't watched Super Sentai like a while. I think the last one I tried watching was what's the space one?
Q Ranger.
That was
my prediction is that's going to be the next one adapted in the US, I think.
Nah, we ain't doing that. That was what, 11?
No, it was later than that.
11.
Oh, there was 11 Rangers. Yeah, there was a big cast. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will say, but you got to remember in Japan, Super Sentai is like our Power Rangers, right? So they're having those same laws and toy sales and everything, right? But when there's a dip, people go to Kamen Rider. We don't have anything like that. We don't have anything else to go to. But we don't. We did for a blip. But these guys for consecutive years have something more cooler and more adult to go to, and that's why the Kamen Rider sales have been up. When Sentai flops and so they change a different direction, do something different. Yeah. We don't have that. We have to watch, Riverdale or fucking, Ozark. We have to watch something that's not in MCU. We can't watch anything that's.
Well, that's another thing. I don't understand how people don't learn from what Marvel is doing because kids watch Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You got little Timmy over there dressed as Captain America.
You can't compare it because it's
I'm not
adult topics.
I'm not comparing it. I'm just saying
versus like littering.
I'm just saying adapt the strategy.
That's what they're gonna do when it comes back to Netflix when they announce the new movie.
I know, but
I think we're in a weird zone of waiting period because the minute they drop some news, there's gonna be a podcast about it, and we're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Everybody, let's go. We gotta go.
This is insane. Yeah.
Where are you? I'm just waking up.
This is all speculation.
We're doing it on the phone.
This is all speculation, but I think the minute we get some actual factual information, a teaser of the suits or whatever the storyline is going to be, we're going to lose our minds and we're going to be like, okay, this is what we've been.
Oh yeah, I'm going to get hyped again as soon as because I love the I'm stuttering. Ooh. I love the design of the Red Ranger suit. So every time there's like a new iteration of it, I get excited.
And that's what you got to take from it. I mean, you really can't take anything more than visual, I mean, that's and a couple of the toys and figures, but at the end of the day, it's a kid's show and we have to pick and choose what we like about it.
All right, before we deep dive into Dyna Fury, I wanted to get on the topic of NFTs. All right, look, my whole life, I wanted, because I used to be an avid gamer. I used to play RPGs, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil. Resident Evil is like an action RPG.
Right.
And you'll collect so many items, and you have like your Zenny or whatever the game currency is. And I always wanted that. So I'm like, if this was real, I'll be balling right now
Mhm.
because you put so much time and effort into a game. And there are some game companies that want to implement NFTs into gaming, but people are just like, no, don't do it. But I'm like, the time is here. This is what I always wanted, and nobody wants it.
It
But the thing is that NFTs is like people don't know what to do with them,
right.
and also it's not regulated.
Mhm.
That's why shit is wild. That's why people are taking other people's music and selling it as NFTs. You got these stupid pictures of monkeys worth $100 million. But
It's
like
like
people,
the
if people are selling their art, that is cool.
right.
I wouldn't pay something I can right click on and pay for.
Well, the sneakerheads and like that fuckboy culture. That's
That's
who
it.
that's who
It's
jumped
just
onto
like
it.
us pay like when I tell my coworkers, hey, I spent $300 on a toy robot, they look at me like I'm stupid. I'm fucking hyped for it.
Right.
But that's not their thing.
Right.
That's something
But you got
everybody has their niche.
right. But you got a tangible robot with a free NFT.
No.
Yes.
No,
you
I'm
did.
not talking about I'm talking about my DYNA CAST. I'm just
Oh,
talking about
but I'm
super
talking
robots
about
in general.
but if you compare it to what they're trying to do to bring it into Power Rangers, that's what you did. You got the pre-order for the limited edition Zord, and you got a free NFT.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So that's cool. I just don't know how you can make that for kids. I don't know how you can.
No, well, that's a collector thing,
Right.
But the topic, the thing I'm trying to say is don't. I have faith in blockchain technology and crypto.
Right.
I feel like it's the future,
Right.
but we just haven't figured it out yet. And I just want people to chill out because you can't. The thing is about fear. Fear comes from not understanding.
Right.
So when you're afraid of something, like I'm afraid of the dark. Why are you afraid of the dark? Because you don't know what's there. Like I got this thing about the well topic. Remember episode 1? Being swallowed by a whale. Because like I got this thing because when you're like in the middle of the ocean, you look down, you can't see down there.
Yeah.
It fucking freaks me out. I don't know what the fuck's down there. Yeah. But if I did, I would be a little bit more at ease.
See, I think I don't know, I kind of find it more adventurous, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you have knowledge of something, if you just don't even bring up the environmental thing. Us humans are a scourge to this planet. Right. So it's bad for the environment, man. Then stop eating your fast food, stop buying your clothes, stop buying your shoes, stay off the internet, don't drive your car, don't buy a car.
Right.
Don't watch TV, don't watch your favorite show, don't watch a movie, because all that affects the environment. Right. Just bad breath affects the environment. So the technology and the concept of all of this, like I believe in it. It just needs to be regulated and pointed in the right direction.
I definitely agree, and this is, I get it, because if you look at my phone, I have 80,000 photos in my phone, right? They're all in the cloud somewhere. I don't know. My phone doesn't run as quick as it should, but I have 80,000 photos, right? And I'd say at least half of those photos are screenshots of cool things that I've seen scrolling, on the internet. There's somebody, action figure or something, right? Not necessarily that I'm going to buy, but I want to remember it and have it. And that's the only thing a normal thinking person, I can describe as what an NFT would be like officially. Like you want that. It is art. It's something, it might not be tangible, but you still want it in your life. So I totally get it. I just don't know. I think when they introduced it, I think it just got in the wrong hands of people, and those people overcomplicated it, and then over fuckeried it, and over aped it, and overdid it. And so now it's just like, so people have kind of taken a step back, but eventually it'll all pan out and people will understand what it is.
Yeah. It's just like, think of all the gamers out there. If you can just grind on it. I was going to say grind on a character. If you can just power up a character, sell that character for real money, that's a job right there on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. I just think it's too fresh, and
it's just new. And
we're just getting cool with gay people, okay? Like just cool it out. We don't know whether, like, we can only handle one thing at a time.
No,
all right?
don't get me started. Don't get me political, man. Gay people been around just as long as
Right.
humans. I'm like,
But
how in the year of our Lord 2022, how is it still weird for a boy to kiss a boy or a girl to
mhm.
kiss a girl when we've been doing this shit for thousands of years?
But now it's public, so we got to be cool, and then we'll slowly introduce NFTs. Okay.
Nah, I just don't understand. I don't get it. Anyway, Dawn and Fury season 1.
Mm.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was good. I mean, it's still too early to find out what's going on with it. It's
I thought the ending was kind of weird.
um,
It's like you lost your powers, but shit's still out there. So here they are.
it's a weird. The whole show is weird, anyways. I mean, but I'm looking at it from the character development. I think all the characters have cool styles.
Yeah, I love all the characters.
Yeah, they're dressing them cool. They're acting cool. They all, there seems to be like a message, with the LGBTQ community. That's getting, I mean, if season 2 they, do something even cooler, but we only have half a season, so it's really hard to. And really, the half a season was half of it was introducing the characters like per episode.
Yeah, and what do you think of Lord Zed? What film popped up?
I thought it was cool, but I mean, it was just for them to sell toys. They made the helmet. They were trying to sell the helmet, and they needed him to make an appearance.
Now, I feel like, I mean, he showed up, disappeared. They made that suit. I feel like he's gonna be the big bad for season 2.
I mean, he may be back.
But I mean, they should have did something more about it.
I mean, I just looked at it from just what I've seen is that they brought him back to the show.
I mean, he
sell
brought him
that
back
helmet.
and then he just dipped. That's one thing Power Ranger does all the time. They motherfuckers show up and then they just dip out, and I'm like, is that person still around?
Have you guys seen? You know who Lord Zed is, right? No. Jesus. Oh, back to the virgins.
Like in Lost Galaxy, what is her? I think her name was Poisandra.
Mhm.
She captured the lights of Orion,
Right.
and Magna Defender, boom, shot her out the
Right.
tree,
Right.
and then she's like, "I'll be back." She disappeared, never came back again.
It's just writing, man. I mean, they're literally creating up until the last couple seasons. They've been creating half of a show. They've literally. That's like. Could you imagine if somebody gave me half a book report? I'd be like, this is. I'd be like, okay, let's just wing this one, But it would be easy. They saved money. They moved the show from production from LA to New Zealand. They're creating half a show, and up until now, they're not really using a lot of the Super Sentai footage, even though it is clear. So sometimes they are, but they got to match the background and stuff, which is a little tough. And then get rid of like the Asian people running around, Like
I mean, they're still there, but they just show them from the back.
right. But you can tell. So it's just a story thing. So I don't really get bugged up on the storylines. I mean, there's other influencers that talk about his pants were green and then they're blue. There's other influencers that are doing the nitpicking on the storyline and for the.
Oh, that would have been me back in the day, but I mean, I was gonna do this whole documentary kind of thing because the comics are canon to the TV show,
Right.
I was gonna weave everything together, but I'm just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Because
my
the comic book, because the comics right now are in season 2. And shit is so wild right now. Like Zordon's in a robot body fighting alongside the Rangers.
Fan fiction.
And then so now how are you gonna get, and Scorpina is still in the Draken dimension.
Fan fiction.
So Scorpina still needs to come back and do the whole what was it, Sabrina thing with Adam.
Fan fiction.
And they can't do that now because I think she died in the Draken dimension.
Okay.
And then I know Zordon's gonna go back, and it's just gonna be weird because when that comic series ends,
Right.
And then you go back into season 2 on the TV show,
Right.
And it's just gonna be like none of that ever happened.
Right. My opinions on the comics are, I think they're cool, and I think there was stories to be told, and people wanted to tell them because I don't know how many people were posting their own drawings, and they're not artists of like combining their favorite characters or favorite and so making their own fan fiction. And I think that these comic books were able to do that. And I mean, the stuff that you're talking about like sounds insane. It sounds cool, but for me, it's not like. I mean, I'll probably pick them up and read them at some point, but for me, it's too off the wall. Like. It's just too much for me.
If that was on live action, if the comic books were what
right,
the TV show,
Right.
it'll be wild
I
shit.
think they're going to take some inspiration from the comics because the comics have explored every, I mean, robot bodies and, children of other Rangers and past seasons and powers being handed down, time travel. I mean, there's no way that they can ignore the comics. But for me, I just need to see it. I'm not a book reader. I can't. I've never watched a book and watched a movie and said the book was better. This, the comic was better. So I'm gonna watch the movie and then I'll be like, okay, now I need to know where this stuff came from.
Yeah. That's kind of how.
Yeah.
I am. I mean, Dawn of Fury. There's really not much to say about it.
It's too new.
It's not that it's too new. It's just that there's no soul to it.
Even in the Japanese series, the Real Soldier that they pulled from, that was not a producing season for them. The toys dipped. They did not.
Yeah, Real Soldier was
not a profitable season for Japan.
mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was just them doing the job. I mean, I feel like that show is a little bit more entertaining than the Power Ranger one. But
yeah, because it's different.
I just get excited when the Morphing Masters show up because like that's 30 years. We never knew who the fuck these guys were. We just always heard about them. I'm like, fuck, there they are.
Yeah, the Morphing Masters are cool, but they also seem like a rush job. I don't know.
Yeah, they're a MacGuffin.
Right.
There's this like, oh, that was also my theory for a lot of unanswered questions in Power Rangers history, but it was more sort of like the morphing grid was sentient and it did things, as opposed to the Morphing Masters. Like, oh, where do Quasar Sabers come from? The Morphing Masters.
Gotcha.
That ninja sphere.
It's like the Wizard of Oz theory. There's somebody behind the curtain.
Yeah. So
it's all good. I mean, literally, man, we have this. I mean, if we were fans of any other franchise, we wouldn't be able to talk. It just doesn't keep going like this. This is insane. I feel like it's Christmas morning every time I wake up, and it's pretty often when there's a new season premiering in Japan, there's a new season premiering in America, there's a new movie announced, there's a new comic, there's a new toy. I mean, we get a lot, and we're fucking spoiled. And that sounds crazy to say, but we are. And the only thing we got to say is like, shit
it's not
sucks.
good enough.
Yeah, it's
not good enough.
But yeah, we do get a lot I mean, Dragon Ball Z kids, they've been watching the same episode for 30 years.
The same fucking characters, bro.
So I mean, I got to be grateful for what we got. And I've tried to get in other fandoms and and try to start businesses in other fandoms, and I just don't have any sort of there's no energy. I don't get a spark from any other.
Yeah, that's kind of how I
It's
feel.
weird.
Because like other shit is cool. Like I love the MCU, but I can't feel. It feels wrong, like I'm cheating on my wife when I'm just.
It's
trying
very
to...
weird. It's very weird. And I will say before, I know we got to wrap this up, but when I first started dating my girlfriend, I told her nothing of Power Rangers at all. Like, and then there was a convention, I think it was PMC 2010 or something was happening, and I was texting and all these messages were coming in, and I was all like giddy on my phone, and she's like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing?" I was like, "Okay, so there's this show called Power Rangers, and like I fucking like love it." And she's like, "Oh, well, that's cool that you like a show." I was like, "No, I fucking love it. Like it's that bad." And she was like, so I had to like come out to my girlfriend that like I was a closeted Power Ranger fan. It was really bad, but she's been super accepting, and we could be into worse things, like I mean, there's way worse things to be into.
Yes. Yeah.
Like being a Tesla fanboy or like an Apple fanboy. There's way more expensive hobbies, that's for sure.
Yes. On that note, that's kind of like our Power Rangers State of the Union kind of thing. I love Power Rangers. Don't get me wrong. I love Power Rangers, but I'm just bored with it. And I had a lot of plans with this show, with Power Rangers and Tokusatsu in general, but it's just nothing is sparking me like it did back in the day. So that's pretty much why I made this video, just to kind of get all my feelings out. But yeah.
And as we get more information, because it's coming soon, this will get better.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, when that Netflix news starts dropping, like, fuck, let's go.
Yeah. So
So
tune in.
be sure to like us on socials, like, subscribe, and 1, 2, 3.
DYNACAST, power up. As we blow out all the speakers. Wah, wah, Madonna.